Hi, it's Wyndham. What do we think when we hear life is tough? It's one of those, I don't know, ever-present, permanent sayings people will say to us or we will encounter. This idea that, life's tough. But what does it generate in us when we hear it? Because I think, for me, for all of those years, because I was so unhappy, and because I couldn't fathom my way out of that, I think that idea that life is tough was just the limits. Well, life is tough, it's always going to be tough. You better get used to where you are. You've been there so long, yet you're still harbouring this idea that there's something else, that it doesn't have to be this way, but life is tough. There will always be challenges. You may as well get used to it. And I think it's a really important distinction that we can make with that idea that life is tough. Because, let's be honest, it is a fundamental, universal truth that life can be tough. And it is also a fundamental, universal truth that life will always pose us challenges. And I think there's this perception that when we do a huge amount of personal development and we work on our own growth, that somehow we insulate ourselves from life's challenges, that we're in pursuit of happiness and peace and gratitude and joy. And if we can write our own blueprint, then somehow life's challenges won't touch us. It's just not true. The fundamental truth is life will pose you challenges. But when we hear that tone, it very quickly can become a resignation. One of the 6 essential elements is acceptance. And Michael J. Fox has a fantastic quote that says, "Acceptance is not resignation. It is simply recognizing what is and knowing there has to be another way." And if we can get that sense in our head, there's no point fighting these inevitabilities, these fundamental universal truths. We might not like it, but it's going to be the way. It is what is. Life is going to pose us challenges. What that doesn't mean is we have to sit there. As Michael J. Fox says, acceptance is not resignation. Acceptance is recognizing what is and knowing there has to be another way. So how do you feel when you hear life is tough? Is it a emotional, energetic deflation into resignation? Or is it, okay, life is tough. Cool, that's the baseline. That's what we're dealing with. Life will pose me challenges. What am I going to do about that? What am I looking to increase in my life? How am I looking to create moments of joy? How am I looking to increase the amount of happiness in my life? How much of my life am I proactively and consciously grateful for? When we look at our lives and we have this sense that life is a challenge, it's really easy to take our eyes off all of the positive things. And when we take our eyes off the positive, our mind naturally drags us to the negative. And if we are focused on the negative, that's where we're going to stay. So yes, life is tough. Life will pose us challenges And at the point we can accept that as something we cannot change, we can adjust our focus so that we're accepting and not resigning. Yeah, life is going to pose us challenges. That is what it is. I recognize that, but I do not resign myself to it. Acceptance is seeing things as they are and knowing there has to be another way. I leave you with that. I wish you a peaceful and joyful few days, and I will speak to you soon.